can make bone broth. Now, I don't have a turkey right here, but I'm telling you, last year I made turkey bone broth, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and it's really good for you too.
Yes, it is. What I do is we save all of our chicken parts, including the little end wings, the little skinny end wing of when we buy chicken wings to cook. So I have a bag in my freezer. I put juice in here. I put pieces of skin, whatever I can find from a turkey when I do rotisserie turkey or bones. So I put those in here, and then I have them for when I want to make bone broth. I've got 2 bags. This one I fell out of the freezer, and I thought, well, you know what? I need to transplant it because it broke. So I thought, what better thing to do is than to just use the chicken bones, chicken carcass. Now you want to be careful because there is a limit to this. I want to make sure, and it'll go down. So I put down my chicken. Now you could do this with any of your meats, you guys. We usually have a fowl chicken bag and a beef bone bag. We usually do that. So here's what I've done. Leftover crudité, leftover pieces of celery, right? Just throw them in. You don't have to chop them. You don't have to make anything pretty because these are just adding flavor to your broth. Some people just want to make plain bone broth, salt and pepper, and that's it. Not me. I want this to taste like delicious soup when it comes out. So I add a little extra. That's just me. If there's anything here that I put in that you don't like, don't put it in. Right now, you could just start this, but I want to add some extra stuff. I want to add some peppercorns.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
What were you asking me? Peppercorns. I want to add some peppercorns. About a teaspoon.
I was thinking of the electric
I know what
ones.
you mean. Yeah, but I don't want pepper in there. I want big hunks.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Now, I have wild mushrooms and fungi. It's got like a whole bunch of different delicious mushrooms. I keep it dehydrated because I don't use it that often, but I love it in my bone broth, you guys. Especially this that turns to a black, delicious fungi mushroom. So I just have some, put it in. I also have dried onions because I don't keep, my onions, I'm always throwing away at least half an onion all the time. So I just keep dehydrated onions around. And you can get this at Walmart online. You can get this on Amazon online. I think we have these in our Amazon store.
I don't know.
I think we do. Anyway, I've got about two tablespoons of onions. Just throw those in. I have some garlic. Just some minced garlic. If you have garlic cloves, just throw the whole cloves in. That's all you need to do. Now, I like bay leaves. If you don't like bay leaves, don't put bay leaves in. You don't need to worry about pieces because we're straining this later. So just throw them in. It's pretty easy. It's a dump and go recipe. Now, I have my Morton poultry seasoning. Use your favorite poultry seasoning. If you don't have a pre-mixed one, I would use parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Just like the Simon and Garfunkel song. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. But I love this poultry seasoning. I also like a lot of salt. Redmond's Real Salt. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of salt. I want my broth nice and salty. You know, cold and flu season's coming. And broth, there's nothing like broth as the base for any soups. Or I'm going to use this broth that I'm making. This bone broth is going to be the base for my, instead of gravy, this is my gravy base. This is going to be my stuffing base. You know, the gravy, the wetness. I'm going to use it for all those things, and it's going to be absolutely delicious. So that's what you put in it. Then I always buy distilled water. Distilled water is totally that. Everything is taken out of it. It is neutral, naked water. But what distilled water does, and this is why you're not supposed to drink it, it's because it searches for minerals and it can leach the minerals away from the bones. So I've got bones in there, so guess what? Guess what it's gonna do? It's gonna help leach the minerals and the vitamins out of the bones.
Yeah, and then
and it's gonna remineralize the water.
yeah.
So when you drink it, now I've gotta look for my
line.
I gotta turn it so I can see where my line is. There it is. There's the line. I go a little bit under. Here's the line. I go a little bit under the line because I don't want to over pressurize it. If you can't get distilled water, because you guys, some of the distilled water areas in the stores are totally gone, just use a good spring mineral. If you guys have your own well and it's good water, absolutely use your own well. We have city water, and we don't care for the taste of our city water, so that's why I use the distilled water, but you don't have to. Now, basically, you put it, this is not an instant pot, this is a power pressure cooker. Same concept.
There you go.
Now make sure it's locked, and you want to pressurize this, so put your pressurizer on, you guys. I want to pressurize it. Now for me, I like cooking this for 2 hours, so I have to use, for me, the canning, and then I time adjust it to 2 hours. I went too far. 2 hours. And that's about it. It's going to pressurize. It's going to bring it up to temperature. It's going to pressurize, cook those so that all those bones, I'll show you how soft those bones are. They literally disintegrate in your hands. It cooks it that well. So we'll come back when we've got bone broth. We'll share with you how we store it and set it aside in the refrigerator for you, it could be the freezer or the refrigerator. Anyway, you guys, we'll come back when it's bone broth.
Yeah, it's really good to have if somebody gets sick in the house.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's perfect for that. That's why you can freeze it, which I think is good.
Yes.
All right.
Our bone broth is ready. Yes, indeed. Oops. Ooh, yeah. So you guys, because of my hands, I'm going to switch places with Harry. Yeah, you're going to need your mitts or your thing. And he's going to carry the bone broth over to the sink because we're going to strain it and jar it in just a second. Yes. So what we have here is we have a large bowl with a colander and then a strainer. And Harry tips it into the strainer. We fill this up. We kind of have a routine here. So go ahead, Harry.
You got it?
Yep. I got it.
Oops. Here we go.
Yep. Tip the bowl. Yep. It's hot, so take your time.
I am. Try to keep the stuff from pouring out.
That's about right. Kind of have like a little routine. We set that up there, and then Harry, if you will take this, I'll do my part. So we've got our jars, and basically I just fill them up. This is so good just right out of the pot. Because we flavored it, we salted it, it is absolutely yum-dilly-umptious all by itself. It is just fantastic. Harry, can you put that over here for me?
How you want it?
Right up here. And then tighten it one turn. There. Next. These are Chosen Food glass mayonnaise jars that we clean and disinfect and we use. And if you take your jars and you do it hot like we are and you put the lid on, it seals pretty well, doesn't it, Harry?
Yeah,
now you can use canning jars as well. That works really well, but we seem to do really good with this. Now, if you are going to freeze it, you want to leave about 1 inch, and you want to probably get something that is freezer safe. If you have a place to put glass jars in your freezer, that's fine, but you want to give it a little bit more space so that when it rides up, when it swells, when it freezes. You don't break the glass. So always leave 1 inch from the top of the jar if you're going to freeze it. And it freezes really well, you guys. You can even use bone broth in ice cube trays and just pull out a couple of ice cubes, put it in a cup, and heat it, you know, or throw it in a pot or a pan where you need a bouillon cube. Have frozen bone broth cubes. That works too. Okay, Harry, we're gonna have to trade places. Okay, go ahead. You don't need to look, I'm looking. She must have gone out.
Yeah, come run her back in.
There you go, that's good. So, what I want to share with you guys is like these bones are so, it's just, look, it's just falling apart. Because
oh, you leached it out.
We just leached out all the, look.
Yeah.
All the bone marrow and stuff. All the cartilage has totally been melted off that bone. It's hot.
Yeah, I know.
But they just break apart because we've leached it all out.
Wait. Because you what?
We leached them all out. And using the, see, look at that.
The mineral.
The mineral, the distilled water just leaches it and breaks it down, you guys. So look at that.
That's something?
It's just awesome. So distilled water really works well. It really, really does. Let me get this out. Stuff's really hot. Careful, don't burn yourself. Now, what you guys saw was how thin the broth was. When you refrigerate this overnight and you come back, it's gonna be gelatinous. It's gonna be, the fat's gonna rise to the top. And when you take that fat and start scooping it out, it's gonna be like Jell-O. It's gonna be so rich and delicious with all the collagen and gelatin that was naturally in the chicken that we had, the bones. And then as you heat it and use it, it'll turn to liquid, but that tells you what delicious bone broth you have. That's the collagen, that's the gelatin, that's the hair, skin, nails part that you're looking for, okay? So anyway, you guys, this is our bone broth. So don't forget, don't throw away the turkey carcass. Leave the juice, the drippings, some of the skin, and make yourself some bone broth after Thanksgiving and Christmas, or for any other time, you guys. We keep our rotisserie chickens that we get, we put them in the bag, and when we have a full bag, we make bone broth. Yes, indeed. Anyway, everybody, please remember to like, subscribe, ring the little bell, give us a thumbs up. We'll see you right here tomorrow.